So let's jump into this. This is, by my count, maybe even now the third way to potentially pay for stadium projects, specifically the Browns project. We've seen the $600 million idea pitched as far as bonds and loans in the House budget. We've seen iGaming legislation come up, legalizing more gaming straight from your phone on things like slots and blackjack. Now here's your piece of legislation looking at kind of a hybrid of what the governor is asking for, and a 2% tax. The governor was asking for a 20% tax on all revenue from sports betting companies. Yours is a little bit different. Walk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same concept as what the governor's trying to do, creating this separate fund to fund sports stadium construction and renovation. The difference is the administration, when they introduced it, it was a 40% overall tax on gross receipts, which is all the revenue a sports betting proprietor brings in. This is on the handle, which is otherwise known as the wager. So in other words, if you bet $100 and in the bill, Senate Bill 199, the tax is 2%, it would be $2 off of that $100 bet. And obviously there's thousands and thousands of, I don't even know if that's an accurate number, but way more bets that this adds up over time. The estimate's about the same, that it would be, somewhere between $150 to $200 million per fiscal year into this fund, which is similar to the governor's budget proposal.
So what's been interesting to watch throughout this entire process for the budget, when it came through the House, Republicans in the House were dead set against any new tax, especially the governor's idea of tacking on extra 20%, so the 40% you were talking about. Why do you think Republicans could go for this? I mean, you're a Republican, you sponsored this bill. This is a new tax.
Sure it is. But I think it's a very good tax in the sense that if you spoke to economists, they would say that this would decrease negative externalities, in that to some degree it will actually reduce sports betting with the higher tax, although the incidence of the tax, I do believe the majority of it will be paid by DraftKings and FanDuel, who make up 80% of the market. But getting down to brass tacks of it, iGaming right now is starting to turn out to be very controversial, very problematic for a number of members. CCV, Citizens for Christian Virtue, has taken a stand against this. So you will see a lot of socially conservative members of the Republican caucus speaking out against it. I think that's already occurring. Not to mention a number of members have had other concerns that, look, if you're going to do iGaming, it's going to cannibalize in many ways the lottery, which is going to take money away from education. So there are a lot of concerns with this. And I think in the end, I think that they will like this proposal more and more as a way to fund sports betting, as a way to fund sports stadium construction and renovation, because in the end, it's actually kind of a user fee.
It does follow pretty closely to what the governor was asking for. Let's have sports gaming pay for sports stadiums. This idea that you're not taxing everybody across the state for something they may or may not use. There's got to be a happy medium here. We are exactly 1 month away from when this budget needs to be on the governor's desk. What has to happen in this next month?
So, great question. I mean, hopefully you can get the speaker, the Senate president, and the governor all on the same page with something. It also has to be something that passes muster with, frankly, both caucuses. And, that's just it. If something like iGaming, for example, is too much of a problem for the Republican caucus, you might see the way these things are sort of done at the federal level and in other states where, leadership in both chambers starts courting the Democrats for their votes on these things, even though it's, considered a tax increase to do it the way that the governor wanted to do. So, I mean, this could go in multiple different directions. It's very difficult to predict. But I would say this, having some sort of fund in place, the way that the governor proposed it, allows for a lot of flexibility. In other words, Cleveland could be taken care of right away, and you could get to the other teams really throughout the rest of the year with this, commission that's also part of that fund. So it's not like all the other teams, whether it's up your guys' way, the Guardians or the Cavs, they could approach this commission anytime instead of waiting for 2 years, which really, given how quickly business moves, that's kind of unacceptable.
Yeah, it has been a process. What do you expect to see happen over the next month? End fighting, reaching out to the other side of the aisle, as you suggested? What do you expect to see happen in the next month?
Well, I would flippantly say sausage making at this point. It's gonna kind of act like, it's gonna seem like a sporting event. You're gonna see the sub bill for the Senate roll out next week, which may go in one direction. I have no idea. Then there's the Omni amendment after that, which could go in a radically different direction. And, even then, all bets are off because this is going to go to conference committee and you could have something wildly different than what was in the House, what was in the executive budget, and even what's in the Senate. So it's going to be a very rough and rocky ride excuse me, June 30th, when we have to have this done by.
Senator Blessing, we're going to give you the final word here. Anything else you want to add on this topic?
No, I would simply say this, that, really the sports betting tax increase and creating a fund, I'm still convinced is the best way to go about this. It protects the taxpayers to the greatest extent possible and really does solve a problem for legislators in the sense that, even though we're talking about the Cleveland Browns now, money has been put forward from the state, whether it's the Columbus Crew, the Cincinnati, or excuse me, FC Cincinnati. I mean, having this fund really takes a lot of work off of our plate and does this in a much more streamlined and beneficial manner.
Excellent. Senator Blessing, thanks for the time today. We appreciate it.
My pleasure, Dan. Thank you. Have a good weekend.